Welcome to Revlog, where today I learned Bryan was in a movie. What movie was it, Bryan?
It was Leap of Faith, 1992, Steve Martin.
Wow.
Meatloaf was in that movie.
Meatloaf,
Yes,
too.
yes,
Man, you
absolutely.
rubbed shoulders
I
with
did.
the elite.
With greatness.
Make sure and
Yeah.
ask for Brian's
My
autograph.
brush with greatness.
Yeah, wow.
Liam
Yeah.
Neeson was in that movie, too. It's
Oh,
amazing.
man. Yeah, and this is Revlog, where Aaron is concerned about the temperature in our undisclosed location today. I'm sorry, Aaron.
It's okay. I'll endeavor to persevere. I
It's
will.
rather warm in our secret filming
Yes.
location, and Aaron
Our
is in
bunker.
a coat.
Yeah.
And-
See, I'm gonna.
Our post-apocalyptic bunker.
yeah. Well, thank you for coming to Exodus 20 with us. As we work through Exodus 20, I would love for us to memorize this together. And so today we're in Exodus 20, verse 3, where God says, "You shall have no other gods before me." And so we're going to take that one verse, commandment number 1, run with it today. Bryan, why don't you get us started with this verse?
Here's a verse that acknowledges that we'll all have a God. We will all have a God.
That's right.
You know, the atheist no less than the theist. You know, we all will, and all gods will leave us groundless except for the Lord. You know, right before it says, you shall have no other gods before me. He says, I am the Lord
That's right.
who brought you out of Egypt.
That's right.
I'm the Lord, Yahweh, that, L-O-R-D, capital L-O-R-D. And his name, the Lord, means I am that I am. He's self-sufficient. He is the ground
Yeah.
of all that is.
Mhm.
And everything will leave you groundless.
Yeah.
Except
Him.
that God.
That's right. What I love when you bring in those first couple of verses, all of that is setting up the 10 Commandments in this relationship with the Lord, where he
Yes.
starts, I brought you out of Egypt. I am your Redeemer. I am your Lord. Now here are the 10 Commandments, and it's built out of that relationship.
I think the same
Yes.
thing, and I was marveled at that as I reread those with new eyes this last week to consider. Here's God. If you're going to introduce yourself to somebody, one of the first things you try and do is establish credibility.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
and it's almost comical for God to say, remember me? I'm the
Right.
guy.
Oh,
that,
yeah,
I'm the
right.
guy that brought you out of
Except we
Egypt.
always forget.
Exactly right.
Right.
But it's even God is just setting the groundwork to go. Before I say anything else, remember, I am the God who delivers. I am the
Yeah.
God that brings you out of.
Truly deliver. I mean, he delivered
Amen.
this.
And
these
so
people.
as he does these things, that all else that follows should be a reminder to us that this is coming from the God who delivers. So therefore, we should clamor to do what he asks
right.
of us.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that these 10 words to us,
Decalogue.
if you will,
Mhm.
thank you, they establish or just reveal to us what God already knows about us, our natural tendencies.
That's right.
And one of the things that he establishes is that we are going to have other things that fight for our affections,
Yes.
that are going to fight for our attention, that are going to fight for our devotion. And
Yeah.
he's saying, let me just start by saying, I'm the God who delivers. You're going to have no other God before me.
Yeah.
So all those things that fight for your attention need to be secondary to the I am.
Yeah. Amen. I'm with you. One of the commentaries I read this week, I don't remember which one it was, but it was beautiful the way it described these commandments coming with the gospel first,
Mhm.
right? That God redeemed them first. It was this message of good news. You were redeemed, and then came the commandments. And so I was grateful for that redeeming God
Right.
giving the way forward out of that. And I would say, as we move forward, as you reminded me, one of the things that I'm doing as we work through these 10 commandments together, looking for certain things from each one of these. One, what is forbidden? Two, what is required? That if this prohibition is true, what is the opposite of it? Is that also true for us? We're called to that kind of duty. What is that? And then also, you reminded me of this. Third thing I'm looking for, what does this command say about the character of God? Because you mentioned it says a lot about our human nature, but in that, what does this tell us about God's nature and who He is too? So me looking for all of those things as we work down through this. So, Bryan, give us what question came to you as you read this verse?
What is grounded? I mean, again, following on this idea of God is the ground. There is no other solid ground besides Him.
Right.
He's the beginning and the end. Jesus, of course, says, "I'm the Alpha and the Omega." the I am who I am. What is grounded? And this is not merely material versus spiritual. I mean, material things can be grounded. I mean, we have N.T. Wright talks about. He thinks the music of Bach will be at the renewal of all things. I mean, things that are done.
Amen.
Yeah, I knew that would get your attention.
Amen.
And things that are done for the glory of God, that
That's right.
reference that grounding, that are grounded on and in God, those things are eternal. And so I think, what if I lived saying, what is grounded? If this isn't a grounded pursuit, grounded in God, if it doesn't reference Him in some way, then what am I doing? To be great, art has to point somewhere, Anne Lamott said. So.
May we have more art grounded in God.
Indeed. Yes.
I'm liking this blog even more and more as we go along. Yeah.
Did
So-
you just quote Anne Lamott?
I
by the way?
did.
Yeah.
I did.
Just
Yes.
throwing them out there.
Yeah, man. So what was your question?
Well, just that
Yeah.
we talk about this. We look at this commandment. We say this is a jealous God, and
Mhm.
it's jealous not in the way that we use jealous, other than He demands our attention, and so it's the simple way to look at this. But what are we allowing to go before God? God is clearly stating He knows our propensity. So what are we allowing to get in front of Him?
Yeah. I mean, I hear Jesus. You can't worship God and mammon.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you can't
absolutely.
worship God and it's always one or the other. We're grateful for you. Comment down below on your thoughts on this first commandment. We'd love to hear from you.
651.